They're good, they're old, they're Collingwood forever. What a win! This video could not have happened without the support of Swish. Swish, if you don't know, is a website where you can go on, you can get personalized videos from your favorite Collingwood stars. Nick Dacos, who had a great game. Lockie Schultz, who is the GOAT. Scott Pendlebury, Josh Dacos, all of these players, if you've got an engagement coming up, Mother's Day is coming up, a birthday coming up, or if you want to really get out your Carlton mate and send him a video of Nick Dacos saying, yeah, boy, what a win. Link is down below. Use code SWOOPLUKE for 10% off. Swish, thank you so much. So, I went into this game, look, and I've said this for the last week, right? I went into this game nervous, couldn't really eat too much lunch. I had soup for lunch because I just couldn't stomach that much. I was starting to get nervous, and then I was making some edits of things to sort of put up and slowly creeping up. I had a nap during the day. The nerves were sort of eating me. It felt like a final, and you know, when your backs are against the wall, I know for Collingwood, when our backs are against the wall, that's when we do our best, right? So I thought Carlton were going to come out and give us everything they had, and they came out and did none of that. Did absolutely none of that. It was just a rinse and repeat from their first 4 games. They start 0-4 now. We've put probably the final nail into their coffin with, look, I'm not even going to sit here and say, oh, that was an incredible win. We played so well. We didn't. We did what we had to do. We banked those 4 points. We give Carlton 0-4 start. And God damn, I love this Collingwood team. So we knew that Carlton were sort of going to have a good first half, and a good first half they did have. They were +4 at halftime, and we couldn't buy a goal to save our lives. In that second quarter, we didn't kick a goal at all. We kicked 5 behinds, and then not only did we kick 5 behinds, even though we had all of the ascendancy, we were down in clearances, down in disposals, down in marks, in contested marks. I think the only thing we were up in were tackles and forward 50 tackles, because everything else was just shocking, and it was all floating Carlton's way. And I remember sitting at halftime and, you know, talking to Dad and listening to the radio and stuff, and going, this game could literally slip out of our hands if we don't do something, if we don't have a big third quarter and respond. And then the rain starts coming down, and it's just a very sloppy, dirty, gross game of footy. But then the third quarter happens, and we know from the narrative of the first 3 rounds with Carlton was that they are no good in second halves. And it just showed, right? We kick, what did we kick? 4 goals, 5 in that third quarter. We should have won this game by 40, 50 points. 40, 50 points easily. Bad kicking is bad football. And thankfully we were playing a bad team, so it didn't come back to bite us on the arse. But that third quarter, it just goes to show all we needed was one really good quarter. And of course it comes in the second half when Carlton just have this demon in their head now that they can't play second half football. They kicked 2 goals for the entire second half, and that came in the last quarter. But we put our foot down in that third and did everything that we needed to do. We dominated that whole third quarter. And then in the last quarter, not so much we put the cue in the rack. Ned Long kicks an incredible goal after he subbed on for Jordan Goey, which was tactical. But then we sort of did what we needed to do to just kill the game, right? Carlton were never going to come back from 36 points down or however much we were up at one stage. They did what they needed to do, and that's what Collingwood do best. They do their work, and then they go into this self-preservation mode, but a self-preservation mode that is still a winning mode of football. Like, we still could have won, or could have piled on if we needed to, and could have switched on if we needed to. But in that second half, Carlton didn't threaten at all, and the boys could take it easy in that last quarter. I said in my preview that we needed to pile on the pressure, because once you pile on the pressure to Carlton, they just capitulate, they crumble, right? And the third quarter is when the pressured pies came out. We finished the game with 85 tackles. Perryman has 8. Sidebottom and Pendlebury have 7 each. Dan McStay has 7. Lockie Schultz has 7. Jamie Elliott has 7. It was just a pressure pies perfect performance. Pressure pies perfect performance. Say that 5 times really, really fast. And I just love seeing it. We've been seeing we've been seeing a little bit in patches these last couple of weeks. And yes, the Port Adelaide game, we played 4 quarters, absolutely dominated, right? We saw it in patches against Footscray, and we definitely saw it in patches against Carlton, doing what we needed to do. In that third quarter, that chaotic football, Carlton really fell for it. And once they started playing the football that we wanted to play, so once they started playing the footy on our terms, it was just lights out, wham bam, thank you, man. The old rope-a-dope. We let them hit us with as much as they could. Then we go, oh yeah, is that all you have? Bang. Just turn it on after half time. And it was just scintillating football that third quarter. It was probably one of the best quarters this year, besides all the missed opportunities and all the points. But even just the way we were spreading and the way we were hitting targets and the way we were moving it, it was good to see after a first half that was just a bit, how's it going? I do want to shout out a couple of players. I thought Darcy Moore played absolutely fantastically. He's going back to his 2023-2022 form. Obviously had a really bad year last year, but these last few games have been some of Darcy Moore's best work for at least 12 months. Lockie Schultz obviously wins the Richard Pratt medal. I'm so happy for him. 2 goals, 7 tackles, 31 pressure acts. And his year has been absolutely incredible. Just like Darcy Moore, his year has been incredible. Josh Dacos, 31 disposals. Nick Dacos took a while to sort of get into the game. You know, George Hewitt sort of wearing him a little bit, but then he kind of gets into the game and then he's doing magical things. And Jordan De Goey kicks 2 goals. And Billy Frampton plays on Curnow. Curnow only kicks 1. Curnow was the only forward, a Carlton forward, to kick a goal. Everything else came from midfielders or half-back. So that's saying something as well. So Billy Frampton, look, I was a bit, how's it going on him playing? But he's a plug and play player, right? He's not going to be that intercepting defender and stuff, but he did some really nice things. Walked Curnow like a glove in his back pocket. Really happy with that. Brody Myercheck returning as well. The only sort of bad thing about today was, one, we didn't put them to the sword by 40, 50 points. But 2, goal kicking. I go to training all the time. They're always doing goal kicking. But when Myercheck is missing 25 metres out hitting the post, it's the yips, right? Everyone starts getting the yips. But then that third quarter happens and it starts going to bed a little bit. I think another thing that we definitely need to talk about is the Dan Houston bump. The way football's going, and like, look, he gets off the ground, he tucks his shoulder, he hits him in the head. Thankfully, Fogarty isn't concussed and he's good to go, because a concussion would have been 4 or 5 week suspension. I think it's a 2 to 3 week suspension, which is a pain in the ass, a real big pain in the ass, because he has changed the dynamic of our backline. So now who do you sort of bring in? So that's probably the dark spot on a really, really good night. Which I'm absolutely spewing about. I'm fucking spewing about it, and that's what he did, you know. But look, heat of the moment thing. Thankfully, Fogarty hasn't got concussion, so there was no damage there. So that's a good sign. Not even for Dan's tribunal case, just a good sign, just for the general health of the player. But yeah, I think a 2 to 3 week suspension is what he cops. Also, I did forget to do it before, but a quick shout out to Darcy Cameron, who, you know, I was praising Tom De Koning in the preview, saying that's who we sort of have to stop. He's going to be everywhere, and he just didn't have a look in. Scott Pendlebury playing on Patrick Cripps, and Cripps did nothing. Sam Walsh had 31 disposals, but wasn't damaging at all. All in all, you know, they say happiness is beating the blues, and happiness is beating the blues. But more importantly, what I'm seeing from this team is they're just doing what they need to do. I said it. I said it against the Giants. I said it right after the game when I did my preview, that opening round, that Giants game, was an anomaly. Because we don't play like that. We don't train like that. It was just an anomaly, and there was lessons that we could take out of it. And then you play Port, Footscray, and Carlton, and you start seeing the Collingwood that we know and love. Yes, it wasn't a 4-quarter performance today, but it was wet weather football. It was just disgusting weather. It was kind of like a chess match, and who would sort of blink first. Josh Dacos, after the game, said, you know, we knew we could break them, and break them we did. We absolutely broke them, and I don't think there's any way for them to sort of come back after this. But more importantly, we're flying at the moment. We're 3-1. we go over to gather round to Adelaide to take on the Swans. So that's going to be a good game. So I'll see you there if you're going there. But I am just stoked. I'm recording this at 1:45 because I've just got so much adrenaline. I was cleaning the house. I was doing this. I was doing that. Eating my ice cream if you saw me on Instagram. But I am stoked. What a win. The nerves that I had at halftime, I was shaking. I was a bit how's it going? But oh my God, this Collingwood team, I think something's building. I honestly think something is building. And this win against your arch rivals, when anything could have happened, I think it might be the catalyst. I'm hoping it's the catalyst. But let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Let me know your thoughts on Dan Houston down below. And until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. But until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.